I try not to let snow keep me from fishing, but this year it's been a little harder than normal. So the goal today is to find a fly that's equivalent to the Rapala. I caught a pretty nice brown on this Rapala here a month or so ago, and Rapalas are hard to beat. However, I really like fly fishing, but the Rapala is just so easy. So I did a lot of research trying to figure out a fly that's similar to a Rapala. What I came up with was Lynch's Drunk and Disorderly. We'll see how well that works. So I tied up 5. I've been tying flies for years. It's part of what makes fly fishing so much fun. This isn't a particularly difficult fly, but it's big and it requires a lot of materials, so it's pretty time consuming. But it was a lot of fun trying to figure the pattern out. We're going to give them a shot. I brought my Rapalas along just in case. Want to be able to go back to the trusty Rapala if I have to. So I think we're going to, they say dark day, dark fly. It's fairly dark today, so I'm going to start with this bad boy here. I've got another 4 of them in the bag just in case. Usually when I'm trying out a new fly, I'll do like a dozen, but these took a little while to tie, so figured 5 was close enough. We're gonna see if I can get this bad boy to produce trout like the Rapala. That would be a fantastic win. Come on, magic fly. Let's catch us some big fish today. The first little bit of the day, I just spent trying to figure out how to most effectively fish the fly. I'd read that if you have either a sinking line or some weight in front of it, that makes it fish a lot better. So I was using just a weight with one of those rubber stoppers in it so I could really secure it to the line. Seems like split shot tends to slide down the line the more you cast it. Now that I felt comfortable fishing the fly, I headed to a place where I've had good luck with Rapalas. My methodology was pretty simple. I'd give the Drunk and Disorderly the advantage by fishing it first. If I hadn't caught anything in 3 or 4 casts, then I'd switch to the Rapala and do 3 and 4 casts with the Rapala. Then I'd move to a different spot and do it all over again. I didn't have luck with either of them in that hole. As I was moving to the next hole, I came across these deer.
Hey, deer.
The snow's so deep that deer are having a tough time with it this year. So I made sure I gave them plenty of room as I walked around them. I didn't want them to expend extra energy trying to get away from me. I repeated the process in the next hole, with the same results. A large flock of geese flying overhead reminded me of why I like winter fishing so much. Here I had the only strike of the day, and it was on the Drunk and Disorderly, but I didn't hook him up. I then proceeded to snag him on the bottom and lost him. I fished for another half hour with both lures without any success. Since the fish weren't cooperating, I decided to at least get some underwater footage so we can see how they swim compared to each other. Let's start with the Rapala. This is in slow motion, but you can see that it has a nice side-to-side wiggle, as well as a little bit of up and down rocking when fished in this manner. When fished a little differently, the side-to-side motion is amplified. It also has kind of a stationary floating quality to it if you pause in the retrieve. This retrieve has a noticeable up and down motion. Here it still has an up and down motion, but it's a little bit more erratic, with some floating. The drunken disorderly has some significant up and down motion due to the weight, but here you can see it also has some really good side-to-side motion. Here the retrieve is almost all up and down motion, fairly significant, but it does have kind of a float in the middle, which I think would trigger a strike. With this retrieve, it doesn't have a lot of up and down motion. It stays fairly level, but here it flips upside down, and then it has a really good tail flick, kind of like the Rapala. Here I overlaid the two lures so you could kind of compare them at the same time. They don't have the exact same motion, but a lot of the characteristics of both the lure and the fly are fairly similar. One thing that's easy to see is that the drunken disorderly has a significantly larger profile. I might have to tie some smaller ones just to compare them fairly. I'd hoped that the fish would let me know whether or not they liked the drunken disorderly as much as the Rapala. However, that wasn't the case today. But you can bet, when the weather's right and I have some time, I'll be back out on the river trying to see how the drunken disorderly fares.